What's important to know after a slip and fall or trip and fall accident? So, slip and falls, trip and falls, they're actually lumped into what you call premises liability, right? So, premises liability is actually a very interesting area. It's actually quite difficult of, generally speaking, they're more difficult cases than, for example, a car accident. What you're going to need to prove depends on who that defendant is, right? So, for example, the premises, the owner or the manager of the premises could be very different from the person that actually created the dangerous condition that existed on the property, right? So, for example, let's say you slipped and fell, and it turns out that there's a pool of water, right, in the aisle. And it turns out that the person that created that pool of water was actually a customer of the grocery store. um, Oftentimes, you're not going to be able to know exactly who that customer is, but you can still potentially pursue a claim against the owner of that premises or the manager of that premises, say the grocery store, right? But they're not as easy as you might think because there's a notice requirement. In that situation where you're pursuing a claim against the owner or manager of that grocery store, right? You need to prove that that grocery store either actually knew, or should have known about that dangerous condition, that pool of water that was there. So that could be established through the amount of time that that pool of water was there, right? So, for example, if you pull the surveillance footage and you find out, hey, the customer spilled that like an hour ago, and the employees never, were never going about and inspecting the different aisles for safety. And so that could be potentially a reason how you could get liability against a grocery store, depending on how long potentially that dangerous condition was on that property.